Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Kind of a weird day on the entire trade front regarding the whole market, really. I mean, I think it kind of felt like one of those days where everybody was still reeling from the Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox weekend, Zach LaVine going over there. You had press conferences going on today, guys getting introduced to the media and all that stuff, whatnot. But today was definitely a weird one in the saga of Jimmy Butler and where the Miami Heat stand. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm just very confused, and it feels almost like everything is still on the table for the league right now. There's some like really ominous tweets out there from like Zach Lowe, who, I mean, just misses all the action. You could just tell because he tweeted out tonight during the Heat game, lots of eyes and ears around the league on the Kevin Durant situation right now. And it almost feels like, and this is just my read on it. If you guys didn't see, the Suns lost to the Portland Trailblazers in overtime. DeAndre Ayton cooked them. I think a 20-20 piece to him, 24-20 on him. Devin Booker with some clutch shots missed, and it doesn't seem like the Heat are going to budge on the Bradley Beal thing. And again, we don't even know if Bradley Beal is going to budge on getting traded from the Phoenix Suns. It doesn't seem like that's the case. And if that's something that Kevin Durant knows, if he knows Bradley Beal isn't going to waive his no trade clause, well then it kind of feels like the Suns are at checkmate at this point when it comes to where things are with Jimmy Butler getting to the Phoenix Suns. And let's be honest about it. This is a superstar who, when he sees things are starting to sink, he gets the holy hell out of there. He doesn't do it in the messy fashion that Jimmy Butler does, where it's like Molotov cocktail. He works like in secret. Boom. And he's like, all right, I'm out of here. You know, he could just sense it coming. And so right now, we're sitting here. I'm very confused by some of the reports that are coming out about Jimmy Butler and where things are at right now. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at where the Suns are at, and I'm trying to think like, okay, well, what is their move here? Because it still seems like Jimmy Butler is gung-ho on getting to that team because he still believes that owner is going to pay him. And look, if they are going to be in a situation to lose Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal's not going anywhere, and Devin Booker just became their all-time leader, and you want a guy to be that guy and toughen up your team a little bit, are they still in that mode where they're going to be like, fine, we'll go from KD to Jimmy Butler? And then, you know, they'll talk themselves into, hey, Jimmy Butler at his peak of his powers, yes, Kevin Durant is a better all-time player. But over the last 5 years, who's gotten further along, who's dragged their team to better places? It's been Jimmy Butler. So is there any kind of delusion that is going on there that would put this in a situation where now we're sitting here and staring at a potential Jimmy Butler for Kevin Durant swap? I don't know. I mean, there's some things I'm seeing from, the great Drew Starr today, who is retweeting and posting some things from Gambo out in Phoenix, who was asking, hey, can you rule out KD for Butler? And he's saying emphatically no. So I don't know what to do with that. Everybody's saying, I think Kevin Durant's listed as doubtful with an injury tomorrow for their next game. This is going to be a very interesting next couple of days. That's all we can say. From just the Jimmy Miami Heat perspective, something came out today, and I am just like very confused by what the hell this report was. So Chris Haynes today had this report it was in the middle of the afternoon. It came on when I was on the air for the radio show. And I generally have read it like a dozen times, and I'm still confused by it, right? Because if you guys didn't see today, Brian Windhorst had said that Jimmy Butler's still apparently going around, nuking trades, saying he doesn't want to be places, even saying, doesn't want to go to the Warriors, doesn't want to sign long with the Warriors. He only wants to sign long with the Phoenix Suns, and there was a potential Wiggins and draft pick deals that was going to go the Heat's way, and that maybe these things still happen. Like, nobody said the Warriors are out on Jimmy Butler. Nobody is apparently out on Jimmy Butler, but everybody is very confused, I think, by Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler seems insistent to go to a place that, for all logical purposes, seems like it's blocked because the guy that has to be traded for him doesn't want to be traded, and he has no trade clause. So now the only way that he gets there is apparently if they can move Kevin Durant. Would they move Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler? I don't know. But anyway, here's what Chris Haynes tweeted out today, which I don't even know how to take this. So here's what Chris Haynes tweeted. Sources: Jimmy Butler's camp has repeatedly told the Heat that he's in shape, healthy, and ready to continue his career and move past this immediately. Their messaging to the Heat has been to negotiate the best deal possible, and once in the red zone, if that team is granted permission by Miami to speak with Butler's rep to discuss a long-term future, that dialogue would be welcomed. To date, no team has asked for permission. So I'm confused by a little. I think by the reading of it, like when I first read this, I was like, does that mean like he's trying to say if he doesn't get traded, he's ready to move past this immediately, come back and return? That's one way I guess you could read it. I don't foresee Jimmy Butler stepping foot and playing meaningful minutes for the Heat again. Outside of like he's on the bench and everybody else gets ankle injuries and they're forced to. Like a Dion Waiters situation a couple of years back where like they literally ran out of players and he had to play against Kawhi Leonard. I think they've put their line in the sand about Jimmy Butler playing for them. But if they can't trade him, are they going to send him home? I think they've made it pretty clear they're not going to do that. Will that change when they run out of ways to suspend him? I don't know. But the other part of this is interesting because it almost seems like a CYA on Bernie Lee and Jimmy Butler, because if it is true that they're nuking trades or telling teams you're not supposed to go there, well, the league's going to step in on that. At some point, I'm sure the Heat have got to throw their hands up and be like, hey, man, you guys gave us all this crap last year because of the Damian Lillard thing, and you guys smacked Damian Lillard on the hands for having the audacity, and his agent having the audacity to shoot down other teams in other negotiations. You made a statement. You said no more statements. Where's our principal's office moment here? Like where are you at, Adam Silver, in doing something? So this almost seems to me when you say, well, to have it out there that no team has asked for permission to talk to about a long-term future. I don't know. That to me is a little bit squirrely when it feels like all these reports are out there, and especially Chris Haynes, who himself has reported that he was the first guy, I believe, to report that Jimmy Butler's camp deterred interest in going to a certain location. I believe he was the first one to report. Jimmy Butler's camp has said no Memphis, no Milwaukee. And, Chris has, been putting out a lot of the stuff from Jimmy's camp from a national perspective. He put out the list of, the Le Batard show went on talking about the list of flights and saying, oh, well, Jimmy hasn't taken that many flights. And then what's the first controversy, or what's the next controversy that comes up with the Heat? Well, Jimmy Butler trying to fly his own flight. So yeah, I've read it a couple times. I'm just confused. I was just reading it. I'm like, oh, I'm confused by the purpose of this report. And it mostly just feels like covering their butts because they don't want to be said, oh, no. We haven't been deterring anything, dude. We haven't been saying anything. But then also like, hey, if they're ready to continue his career and move past this immediately, is that with the Heat? Is that with another team? I don't know what way to read that. Obviously, at some point, Jimmy Butler's got to be sick of getting his money taken away and does have to show up for work and play basketball and not get in his feelings. But obviously, on the other end of it, Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley and the organization, forget about the players, but like, how could they trust any word that comes? Like the trust between these two sides is completely broken. It's eradicated. It is up in flames. The bridge is burned. It's all over. So, once the suspension's up, if it does get past the trade deadline, and who knows, it feels like we're almost heading into another crazy showing where any hour something can go down. And who knows who's going to get upset after you see Luka Doncic get traded. Anything's on the line. And even like today, I was like reading the Kyrie Irving quotes, and Kyrie Irving is calling it grieving, that they're grieving that he is that Luka's gone. He said, "Miss my hermano, I miss him," and I was like, "Oh, you miss him, do you?" So I really am like we're still. It almost feels like, hold on, for these, buckle up and hold on for these next couple of days here, because up until Thursday at 3 p.m., it really does feel like nothing could happen or anything can happen. I'm not sitting here hope-mongering trying to tell the Heat fan, oh my God, we're going to get Kevin Durant because things are – I'm not sitting here because, like, the way things have been going with the Heat and karma on moves lately – it feels like, we'll end up in whatever the worst situation is, that we'll end up with Bradley Beal, and we gave up a first-round pick the way it's been going with Heat moves lately. But it doesn't feel like anything's decided. There's going to be a lot of noise rattling. And then one thing I would say, on the whole front of, like, what happens if nothing happens? It's like, I guess we come to that bridge when we come to it, but it's almost like the Heat have already had at-bats at that, because they've already – expected Jimmy Butler. They've had Jimmy Butler come off of illness, long illness / injury. They've had Jimmy Butler come off of suspension. They've had Jimmy return from suspension. Then they suspended Jimmy Butler again. Then they tried to bring back Jimmy Butler from suspension. And then they suspended him again. So, they've already got their cracks at it. I think the only guys you feel bad for are the guys in the locker room right now. But you guys just gave him 133 to the Bulls, so maybe you should be a little uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I'm lashing out. It was a bad night of sports. The Heat lost. The Panthers lost. I'm not in a good place tonight. I'm not in a good place. And we'll see, man. This has definitely been a weird day. I really have no read on it. I don't have a read on it. It just feels like it could go anywhere. And let's see. Somebody's texting me here. Somebody's sending me the Gambo thing. We'll see, dude. We'll see. It is going to be, I think it's going to be a wild couple of days here between, the Warriors calling up and getting involved on everything. They're calling apparently from everybody from Jimmy to Katie to Zion. Kyrie Irving might be upset. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Jimmy Butler is trying to cover his ass on nuking too many trades. The Grizzlies might still want to make a move. It just feels like it's all on the table right now. And, what's already been a very eventful trade season, especially for Heat fans, could be about ready to take its wildest turn.